Semifinal Tuesday leads to semifinal Wednesday at the Euros and Copa America for the last two spots in each of the finals of these two international tournaments. The Ringer's Anthony Dabbundo joins us live right here on this Wednesday to preview both matches today. Is it coming home between the English and the Dutch, England and the Netherlands, in the first semifinal on this Wednesday afternoon? The nightcap, Uruguay and Colombia for the last spot in the Copa America title tilt against Argentina, and a recap of yesterday as well. Anthony, as always, we appreciate the time. Thank you for being here on this Wednesday.
Yeah, the Dutch fans have already taken over Dortmund. They are ready to go, dancing in the streets, and we've got a few hours to go until the kickoff, so I'm getting excited.
Bad day to be a Kolsch over there in Dortmund, that is for sure. Anthony, let's look back on yesterday in Munich. After a tournament that has really been plagued by a bunch of PKs and not a ton of open offense, we saw a ton in the first 25 minutes between Spain and France. The French scoring in the 8th minute. Lamine Yamal, the 16-year-old for Spain, scoring in the 21st. A wonder goal, and Dani Olmo in the 25th minute. The game winner for the Spanish. They hold on in the second half. Kylian Mbappe had some chances, but Spain victorious 2-1 to advance to the Euro final. What was the key to the Spanish success yesterday in Munich?
They've been very they were not very effective at holding out Germany when they played with the lead in the last match. They went up 1-0 on Germany, and they kind of sat back a little bit and didn't keep enough of the ball, and they conceded a ton of chances, and ultimately Germany caught them late. And really, I thought Germany was going to go on and win that match in the quarterfinal. It was very different yesterday because Spain, once they did go up 2-1, pretty much stopped attacking. They took only a couple shots after that point. But unlike the Germany match, France was not really able to play their way back into it. They never really had a period of sustained dominance. And France, for all of the talent that they have, it's been an ongoing problem for them at the entire tournament, not able to create quality shots. They created a lot of total shots, but most of them low quality, low XG chances. And we never had to see France play from behind. In the past, France very good at kind of turning the dial and turning the mode into attack and creating lots of chances. This was the first time they fell behind at this tournament, and they were not at all effective at playing from behind. So really, I think it's a failure on Deschamps and a credit to Spain that they have, the control and the ability to dominate midfield like they did. Really could have scored first too. Fabian Ruiz missed that sitter. They really took apart a French defense in the first half that had been very good entering the tournament.
Some finals we take a look at and we are surprised by. We weren't surprised yesterday in the Copa. Argentina 2-0 over Canada. He had 2 goals yesterday for Argentina. Alvarez in the 22nd minute, and the first goal of the tournament for Lionel Messi in the 51st minute with that 2-0 victory. It was about what we expected out of Argentina, but also from your end of it, Anthony. What did you anticipate for Argentina coming into this tournament, and how they've looked so far advancing once again?
Yeah, I actually think Argentina, they met expectations. Anytime you get a bracket like they did where the 4 of the 5 best teams in the field besides Argentina are on the other half, Colombia, Brazil, Uruguay, even the United States, if you want to throw them in there pre-tournament, all on the other side of the field. It was always going to be the minimum requirement for Argentina was going to be to make the final. And if you evaluate how they performed across those 5 matches, I would say they've somewhat met expectations. I don't think Argentina's really blown anybody away. They've only conceded 1 goal, and it came in stoppage time against Ecuador. But, they were kind of outplayed by Ecuador, and even Canada yesterday was pretty competitive in that first half. Like, they have not kind of wiped away the competition the way you would expect them to. So I think some of that comes down to the fact that Messi has not been 100% fit. He did miss the Peru match. He wasn't 100% against Ecuador. He looked a little better last night, but still not the Messi we're used to seeing. Some of that could just be aging too, but Messi's not been quite at his sharpest. I think they're live to get picked off in this final. I think it's going to be closer than the market suggests. They're going to be minus 170, 180 in the final to win it. I'm not sure that they should be that high given the form we've seen from the other 2 semifinalists.
Leo Messi scoring his first goal of the Copa America tournament last night early in the second half against the Canadians, deflecting a shot in front of the net that then tickled the twine. Minus 135, the price on the Argentines entering yesterday's semifinal to win Copa America outright. Now minus 165 as they await the winner of tonight's match between Colombia and Uruguay, as we will break down in just a minute. But Anthony, we start semifinal Wednesday with the matchup in Dortmund, the English and the Dutch. Here are the odds just to advance to the final, not the 90-minute match bet or any of the plays that you might have for this match today. But England now minus 130, a little bit of movement back to the Netherlands, plus 106. Anthony, I ask you this straight up, and then we can get into any plays you like for the actual match. Will England make the final to take on Spain this weekend?
So the Dutch 20-1 were my pre-tournament pick. I'm sticking by them. I like the way they've played throughout this tournament. I don't think they've been at their best, but I think it's very hard to say England has either. When you look at England's two, knockout matches, they create almost next to nothing for an hour. They score a late goal on an excellent finish from Bellingham against Slovakia, from Saka. They create a little moment where you're like, that looks like that could be the good England. And then they go kind of back to just mediocre England. And we have not seen them put together a full 90 minutes of quality play at this tournament. The Dutch, they played France in their second match of the group stage, and I think that's kind of instructive to how this one might look. I do not expect the fireworks from yesterday to happen in this one, but I do think the Dutch are about a coin flip to advance here.
Taking a look here and flip it over to the Copas once again, as we have a nice doubleheader of soccer once again on the schedule. Uruguay versus Colombia, minus 118 Uruguay, Colombia, minus 104. Who is going to advance here to take on Argentina, Anthony, in your mind?
I actually think Colombia is in better form. And I know Uruguay took out Brazil and won that match and kind of controlled their match against the United States. But Colombia, if you compare performances, just common opponent. They both played Brazil in their last match. Colombia took it to Brazil much better than Uruguay did. And I think the biggest difference between these two teams, both are going to be very physical. There's going to be a lot of fouls. There's going to be a lot of defensive transitions where people just hack each other down, expecting this game to be pretty ugly but entertaining in that way. I do think the difference maker is James Rodriguez. He's been the best player at this tournament. He's got 5 assists for Colombia. And he really is an international soccer cheat code because he doesn't play at the club level, at the elite level anymore. But he's got an incredible left foot. He gets time and space on the ball to pick out passes, to break open defenses. Uruguay doesn't quite have that. And I think that's the biggest difference here. I trust the Uruguay defense maybe a little more than Colombia, but I think Colombia's got the difference maker with James in his form right now. So I do expect Colombia to make the final. They were also my pre-tournament pick. So big day for me from futures perspective. And I think the Colombians are playing as well as anybody in this field.
Then we are rooting on Anthony Dabbundo. That is for sure. Uruguay, a very slight favorite to advance to the final, but both have the same price right now at plus 340 behind Argentina to win the Copa America crown. Anthony, these are the odds to advance, just to win the game however it looks, in PKs, in extra time, so on and so forth, for either the European semifinal between England and the Netherlands or the late night game between Colombia and Uruguay. Do you have any 90-minute match bets, anything within the actual matches themselves, some best bets for this soccer semifinal Wednesday?
Yeah, so the total for yesterday's Euro match and today's are about the same. Both were 2. And I thought yesterday's was a little low. I think today is a little high. I like under 2 at minus 107. I am not sure that this match is going to have a ton of tempo. We saw the Dutch barely press France, and they kind of sat off. And England is more than comfortable to have a lot of possession and do nothing with it, and more than comfortable to give the Dutch the ball and not really press them. So I think this could be a slower tempo, kind of more similar to a Portugal-France matchup. I'm not the most excited to watch this match if you're a neutral or a soccer casual, but I do think that until that first goal goes in, this game ends up very cagey, and that's under 2 is a little bit higher than I think it should be.
And from that future perspective, we wish you the best of luck. You know, Donnie Rightside will be there in your corner cheering on all of those bets on this semifinal
Orange.
Wednesday. Anthony Dabbundo. Hey, what did we say, Donnie? Did you hear that?
What?
Orange.
What we got? What is that?
On orange. For the Dutch.
There we go. All right. Hey,
well,
look, I'm
Anthony
learning new things
Dabbundo, we
every day
appreciate
here.
your
I'm learning
soccer
new
expertise that you are. And that's all we can ask. From the Ringer, Anthony joining us here today on this Wednesday. Anthony, thank you so much.